All right, so these are 5 reasons, or really just 5 things to consider before pulling the trigger on the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2 Pro. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, starting off with number 1, which is going to be the price. So as of this video, you can pick these up for 230 bucks, which honestly is not that surprising, especially when you consider that most flagship earbuds these days are well over $200. But when you consider that you can pick up the Buds Pro or the Buds 2 for quite literally $100 cheaper, you do have to ask if it's worth paying the extra money, especially when the Buds Pro and the Buds 2 are giving you about 90% of the same level of performance that you can get out of the Buds 2 Pro. So if you're curious and you want to know more as far as how those 3 earbuds stack up to each other, go ahead and check out this video right here. Number 2 is going to be the lack of multi-point connection. So if you're heavily invested into the Samsung ecosystem and you own multiple Samsung devices, this doesn't really matter that much because the Buds 2 Pro will switch seamlessly between those devices, very similar to how the AirPods work so well with other Apple devices. But if you own multiple types of devices, you don't have the option to connect to 2 devices at the same time and switch back and forth seamlessly between the 2. Now, considering that this has been the year of multi-point connection, we've seen so many earbuds come out this year, even budget-friendly earbuds that feature multi-point connection. We've had the Soundcore Liberty 3 Pro, multi-point connection. We've had the One More Evo, multi-point connection. We had the Earfun Air S, which are $70, $80 earbuds that came out recently that even have multi-point connection. So on one hand, I'm sure this is a strategic play from Samsung to encourage people to buy their products and stay within their ecosystem. But on the other hand, I feel like it was a missed opportunity considering that so much of their competition is adding this feature. So hopefully in the future, or maybe even with a firmware update, we can see this feature be added. So number 3 is going to be the lack of adjustable active noise cancellation and transparency mode. Now, this doesn't really make much sense to me at all because with the Galaxy Buds Pro, you even have a high and a low setting for the active noise cancellation. And the same thing for the transparency mode. You have a fully adjustable slider so that you can dial in the exact strength of the transparency, which makes sense because everybody's hearing is a little bit different. Now with the Buds 2 Pro, they took both of those options away, which does nothing but confuse me. So again, hopefully they'll add this with a firmware update at some point, but as of this video, those are not options. Number 4 is going to be the lack of a fully customizable EQ. So in typical Samsung fashion, they do give you a short list of EQ presets to try out, which honestly are great, and I'm sure they're more than enough for most people. But there are some people out there that like to try and take things to the next level and dial in the EQ settings themselves, including me. I like to try and just play around with the different frequencies and find what works best for my ears. So it would have been nice to see Samsung add that with the Buds 2 Pro, but unfortunately that's not the case. And again, going back to the competition, this is something that even more of the budget-friendly options are adding to their arsenal. So at some point, it seems like Samsung would step up to the plate and challenge the competition out there. But again, we'll have to see what they do, maybe with some firmware updates in the future. Number 5 is going to be the call quality. So for most instances, the microphones on the Buds 2 Pro will be perfectly fine. But for noisy environments in particular, there are other earbuds out there, many of which are at lower price points that seem to perform much better in noisy environments. For example, the Sony LinkBuds S, as well as the Soundcore Liberty 3 Pro, seem to cancel out background noise much better and focus in on nothing more than the voice. I did do a comparison between those 3 earbuds, so we'll get into that here shortly. But really quick, let me say that it wasn't exactly apples to apples. You'll notice that when I did the microphone test for the Buds 2 Pro, there was considerably more noise in the background. There was even a siren passing by, which added much more noise. But in general, you can clearly see that the LinkBuds S and the Liberty 3 Pro perform much better when there's noises taking place around you. So let's go ahead and get into the test. All right, so these are the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2 Pro. As you can see, we are outdoors. There is some slight traffic taking place behind us. So this should give you a pretty good idea as to how these will perform in a relatively noisy environment. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. And now we have the Sony Link Buds S. Again, outdoor test with some traffic noise taking place behind me. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. And here we have the Soundcore Liberty 3 Pro. Again, outdoor test with some traffic noise taking place behind me. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. So overall, this is not me bashing the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro. I still think they're an amazing set of earbuds, especially for those of you that are Samsung users, much like myself. These are just some things that I think people should consider before they decide on pulling the trigger. So that's going to cover it for today's video. Hopefully you found it to be helpful, and if you did, please do me a favor, give it a thumbs up, as well as consider subscribing to the channel. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.